Well, Mondays are usually the most boring day starting the week. But however, I tend to keep your Mondays fun and exciting. Now, for today, we're just going to be focused on one review for today, and that is, of course, New Japan Pro Wrestling with Day 2 of Wrestling Dontaku. This one features many matches, but however, three of the top matches are involving championships. We have the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team belts. The Ichiban Sweet Boys defend them against El Desperado and, of course, his tag team partner, the man, the myth, the legend, Mystico. And then, of course, we have the never open weight six-man tag team belts. The United Empire, Hinare, Great Khan, and Will Ospreay challenge Bishamon and Bolton Oleg for these belts. And then finally, of course, the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. Cal Newman defends it against the Dragon, Shingo Takagi. So this is going to be a slobber knocker of a match. So you don't want to miss out the review on this one. And then, as always, we'll wrap up our episode as usual with some news updates to give you guys updates on what's been happening in the world of wrestling, such as what events the promotions are thrown out, who's booked, what matches are set, including developments that are happening in the world of wrestling as we speak. So, let's get ready for another episode of the Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Hey everyone, welcome to Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, TNA, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J-Rod here. So, if you are new to the channel, welcome. This is a channel we do a lot of pro wrestling reviews from various promotions, not only here in the United States, but also in Japan, Mexico, Canada, Europe, the UK. In a world of wrestling is not as big, but it continues to grow. We also, of course, do discussion videos, talk about various topics such as the wrestlers themselves, the promotions, factions, storylines, whatever we want to talk about. We also, of course, do more news updates. If certain information is unable to be on this episode, we can either put it on the next one or on a separate video by itself. We also, of course, do some real-time news updates to keep you guys on alert if something has happened in the world of wrestling that needs to be addressed ASAP. We also, of course, got the Nagi Sayaka Watch and various other cool wrestling content as well. So if you like what you see, please subscribe to us and click on that subscribe button. You'll be getting a lot of daily reviews and other cool wrestling content as well. But if you like this episode, please give us a like on the like button or a nice comment in the description down below. Now, enough with the jibber jabbers. Let's get to it. So as I said before, it's a one review episode only with some news updates, of course. So let's begin with New Japan Pro Wrestling. Alright, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Wrestling Dontaku 2026. Now, this is day 2 of their event, of course, at the Fukuoka Convention Center. Now, we opened up with Young Lions action. We have, of course, Tyson Nakahara taking on Masatora Yasuda. Now, of course, many of you know this. Yasuda has much better experience than Nakahara, so he's been there a bit more longer than him. Now, obviously, we normally see with Young Lions, they often have to lose their matches against their peers, their seniors, however they want to go. But however, in this case, it was Yasuda that picked up the victory by applying a Boston Crab onto Nakahara, and just like that, Nakahara just tapped out. It was over. Now, our next match, we have the New Japan World Television Championship. Chase Owens of the House of Losers take on the Alpha Konosuke Takeshita. Now, the one thing that was interesting, Takeshita did not have the New Japan World Television title with him. Someone has stolen it from him to from his bag that he had. So obviously it had to be the House of Losers, because they've been known to steal things to say that it's belonged to them, and that, of course, I mean, it's the same thing what we saw with that idiot Evil, of course, when he did to Sonata a couple years ago. But however, of course, it was no secret when it comes to the House of Losers that they will do whatever it takes to take what they feel it belongs to them. They were going to help out. Yujiro was there. He even tried to help out. Even when the referee was taken out, the entirety of the House of Torture showed up. But luckily, Hantai took matters in their own hands, and they took him out. However, Takeshita took out Chase Owens with the Raging Fire. 1, 2, 3, it was over. However, of course, during the post-match, a mysterious mask figure showed up. If you guys saw this about a month ago, this guy appeared right in front of Takeshita. We had no idea what was the significance, but in the bag, we have reason to believe that he might have stolen the New Japan World Television title. And then he whacked, of course, Takeshita right in the face. And it turned out, behind the mask, it was none other than Sonata. Yeah, Sonata's back after an indefinite hiatus. We don't know what the hell he's been doing. He just reappeared. And just like that, it was completely out of. But it doesn't take a genius what this idiot wants. He wants, of course, the New Japan World Television title. Now, of course, Takeshita doesn't normally get help, but Hantai are offering him because they know what it's like to deal with the House of Losers time and time again. If I was Takeshita, you don't have to be friends with these guys. All you need to do is need people that know the enemy of my enemy is my friend. So basically, you need allies to deal with them. So that's what I would suggest. Now, our next match, we have the Unbound Company, consisting of Daiki Nagai and Geto. They take on Tatsuya Matsumoto and Ryusuke Taguchi. Now, this is a match where Nagai has to prove himself, his worth, to be part of the best of the Super Juniors. Now, as you all know, Doiki refuses to participate in this event. To be honest with you, he's a coward. You know, he just doesn't want to exhaust himself saying he's the best. I mean, if he doesn't participate, he's not the best. He's just a loser. But however, I have to say I give Daiki Nagai, you know, thumbs up, because he's showing he has bigger balls. He wants to be part of this. And to prove himself, he and Geto put themselves in this match. And I have to say he pulled off an amazing match. But one thing I did not anticipate is how he was going to do it. He actually pulled off a diving headbutt onto Matsumoto. And just like that, 1, 2, 3, he actually proved it. And that may be the possible that he may use, of course, the diving headbutt. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, they mentioned about Dynamite Kid using it, and we all know the dangers of him using the headbutt. So it would make absolute sense. Now, once again, Tomoaki Hamna, as you know, has been aiming for the IWGP Tag Team belt. So this time he asked Shota Umino, the Roughneck, to help him out to deal with the Knockout Brothers. Now, obviously, look, I don't like to say this about Hamna. I mean, I understand that he wants to prove his worth despite of his age. But, you know, right now you got the Knockout Brothers. They're totally killing it in the tag team division in New Japan. And obviously they are doing it a pretty good job. But unfortunately, once again, he was taken out in a Nightmare Sleeper by Oscar. And just like that, it was completely over. Now, our next match, we have Toru Yano, Master Wato, Yo, and Tiger Mask. Along with Aaron Wolf. They took on the House of Losers, consistent of Kanemaru, Sho, Yujiro, Don Fale, and Ren Narita. Now, of course, many of us know that Aaron Wolf has some unfinished business with Ren Narita and to regain the Never Openweight Championship, a title that, as you know, was taken from him thanks to the dirty tricks from Narita last time. And of course, they were going to play dirty tricks every single time, but unfortunately, of course, Wolf applied the angle slam on Jujiro, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. But however, during the post-match promo, Tiger Mask, as you know, decided to tell everybody that he can't wait to see everybody on the July 7th, which is, of course, his final show to participate, since he will be retiring. So, stay tuned for that. Now, our next match, we have TMDK, consisting of Hartley Jackson and Rohei Oiwa, taking on Taichi and Yuya Uemura. And I have to say, this match was pretty impressive. I mean, not to mention seeing Uemura and, of course, Oiwa I think they were part of the same class together, and they actually took it to the next level. But however, it was Taichi who actually took himself to the limit against Jackson, who's a bit more stronger and bigger than him. But luckily, he was able to apply, of course, the Black Manifesto, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, done. And then, of course, as you know, Oiwa and Uemura seems like they want to have some unfinished business, but however, Taichi feels like he doesn't want to be surpassed by both of them, so he wants to join in on a little fun. So we'll see how that goes there too. Now our next match, we have the United Empire, Zane J, Jacob Austin Young, Francesco Cara, and of course the Nutcase, Jake Lee taking on the Unbound Company, Robbie X, Taiji Shimori, Drilla Maloney, and Yota Tsuji. Now, of course, Yota Tsuji is not smiling because he no longer has championships around him. He's basically looked like he's depressed in every way. But, however, of course, you know how the United Empire is determined to prove themselves. Now they are the top dogs because they felt they got rid of the War Dogs and all that, but luckily it was Taiji Shimori that put Zane J in the Boston Crab, forcing him to tap out, and just like that, it was over. Now, our first of the 3 championship match is the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team belts. El Desperado Místico issued the challenge the day before, and of course the Ichiban Sweet Boys, Robbie Eagles and Kosei Fujita, agreed to this. And I thought this was going to be a very interesting match. Now remember, you got to talk about cohesion, teamwork that these guys have. Now, of course, we all assume in every 8-way aspects that, of course, the Ichiban Sweet Boys, they have been tag team champions before. They have worked together very well as well. But when it comes to Desperado Místico, that's a different story, because you would say, oh, they probably don't have the experience that they normally would have. Normally, we would agree with you, but somehow they were able to work together. However, Robbie Eagles did his homework. He was, of course, avoiding La Mística from, of course, one of the most deadly submissions by Místico, which is similar to the Fujiwara armbar. He was able to avert it, but however, it was in fact Despi that picked up the win when he applied numero dos onto Fujita, and just like that, Fujita had no other choice but to tap out. And just like that, brand new IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Champions. Now our next match is the Never Openweight 6-Man Tag Team Championships. We have, of course, the United Empire with Hinare, Great-O-Khan, and Will Ospreay taking on Bishamon, Yoshihashi, and Hiroki Goto, along with, of course, Boltin Oleg, who, as many of you know, he did not have a good successful ending for him last time, since he was unsuccessful to gain the Never Openweight Championship from Red Narita, thanks to his usual tricks. But however, they put themselves to the limit against 2 of the strongest individuals, Great-O-Khan and, of course, Hinare, and that sort of thing. And I thought this match was insane. But in the end, it was Great-O-Khan that was able to take out Yoshihashi by smashing his brain into the mat and then pinning him. 1, 2, 3. Just like that, they won. New Never Openweight 6-Man Tag Team Champions. However, of course, Hinare and Great-O-Khan called out, of course, the Knockout Brothers. Now, for those who may not remember, Hinare and Great-O-Khan were in fact Tag Team Champions, but they had to relinquish those belts due to the fact that Hinare was injured, and they felt like they earned the right to those belts. And of course, Ice and Oscar, they're not afraid of anything. But of course, there's no possible way they could the Knockout Brothers going to lose them. I mean, they have been very successful, and everybody are behind them saying, let's get high, and that's exactly what we've been seeing. Now our next match is the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. Shingo Takagi challenging for this belt, and of course his wife, co-de facto leader of the Cosmic Angels, Natsupoi, was there. They take on Cal Newman, and I thought it was intense. Now, of course, Newman being cocky, he doesn't want to bide his time by challenging Shingo Takagi, and then of course when he did, it was insane. But however, of course, Newman decided to mess around with Natsupoi, but don't ever mess around with a man's wife. That's the last thing you need, or else you get knocked down. But man, Shingo actually could fly. He almost, and of course, Natsupoi gave him the stamp of approval, that sort of thing. But of course, Will Ospreay was there to support him. But one thing he did not like is how this thing ended. Newman, of course, being the little cheapskate that he is, he had help. Zane J interfered when they got rid of Red Shoes, and then Daiki Nagai took care of him. Then the psychopath Jake Lee got involved, and then Yota Tsuji. So and then of course Newman low blowed Shingo Takagi multiple times to win the match, and just like that, 1, 2, 3 is over. And then of course they decided to send a message to Shingo and Yota Tsuji. Will Ospreay was not okay with the idea, but in the end he had no choice but to give in and just give the hidden blade, and he was not happy with it. But of course Newman began not to trust Will Ospreay anymore. But Newman decided that he will not allow Shingo or Yota Tsuji to challenge him ever again, as he's still the champion. However, he gave him an opportunity in a short time to say that they will face him and Jake Lee. If one of them pin him, they get a shot of the title at Dominion. So we'll see how things will go. Because right now I don't like what Newman is doing. But if I was Will Ospreay, walk away, build your own group or whatever. But we'll see what happens until then. But for now, we'll end things here and wrap up our episode with some news updates. Okay, so welcome to our news updates. So let's begin with upcoming events. Majority of it, and of course, is the GCW updates. So let's begin with that. As you know, they will be in Detroit on May 15th for Guilty Conscience. They announced Too Tough Tony will be in action to take on Jimmy F. and Lloyd. And then, of course, 2 days later on the 17th of May in Du Bois, Iowa, making their debut there too for Ring of Field, they announced Eric Cannon versus Terry Yaki. They also announced that they'll be making their way to Tulsa, Oklahoma on the 19th of July. Now, they haven't made the announcement of the title or who will be participating, but only a matter of time, so I'll let you guys know that. And then finally, for upcoming events on our segment here, we have West Coast Pro with Cruel Summer on the 20th of June. We have tag team action. We have the Cajun Catch Revival taking on New Fever. So that's pretty much it for upcoming events. Let's talk about, of course, some other developments. By the time this video is out, it probably already happened. We want to give a happy belated birthday to, of course, La Catalina, who turns 26. Many of you now know that she is in AAA now. She was part of CML until she made the transfer to AAA, and now she'll be making possibly in her future all the way to WWE. We'll just have to wait and see what happens from there. Now, Fightful Select reports that Kyle Fletcher was at Collision this past Saturday, of course. They still haven't made any clear indications when he'll be back, so it probably will be, hopefully, more answers to that. We want to give congratulations to Naomichi Marifuji from capturing now the GHC National Championship. So that means he has obtained every title in Pro Wrestling Noah. Now, for those who are not familiarized with the Noah championships, the governing body is called the Global Honored Crown, GHC. Now, for those who may not know about Naomichi Marifuji, he has captured both the Junior Heavyweight Championship and the Junior Heavyweight Tag Team belts at the time. If you guys want to know who was his tag team partner during that time, it was in fact Kenta. Yeah, the same Kenta. He even obtained the heavyweight tag team belt, the heavyweight championship, the hardcore championship. So all of them, and the national championship is the last one he even obtained. So it's amazing that his career has reached this well. Now, let's talk about some other things. There's been talk about Kairi Sane recently from, of course, Wrestling Observer. Now, those who don't remember, we received a surprising, shocking announcement that Kairi Sane, our favorite pirate princess, was released from the company. And I think many of us could agree it was a bullshit decision from TKO. However, Wrestling Observer made this very interesting notion. Let me pull it up here. This was coming from Brian Alvarez himself. Within WWE, it's felt there is a better than 50 chance that Kairi shows up at the Backlash to at least finish off that storyline. So there's been talk about that they would say, because we know that Io Sky and Asuka will face off each other, and that she might show up to finish. So I mean, I would love to see that if that's the case. But if not, then TKO ruined it for everyone. I mean, I know people that are happy with them. Interesting news, of course. As you may have heard already, that WrestleCon will be heading to, of course, in Minneapolis. That will take place later on in August. They say that they'll be taking over the Hilton, downtown Hilton, on July 31st, August 1st, and August 2nd. So they have made that announcement. I can't wait to see. Hopefully, we get more announcements who will be participating. And then finally, of course, Brian Alvarez also made talk about Xavier Woods. As you know, that he and Kofi Kingston, better known as the New Day, were released. This is what he said. I've heard a lot from a lot of people this weekend that do believe that WWE are trying to retain Woods with, and as a referred repeatedly, the Tyler Breeze deal, which is basically he gets paid money to do stuff for the video game. I don't know if we will accept that if he will accept that offer. I don't know what's going on in his head, but he might. So it's not a foregone conclusion that both New Day are gone at AEW. It's likely they're going to happen. I would say it would be things being done where W are trying to retain him for other things. Yeah, so for those who don't know, we know that Xavier Woods has participating in video game deals. Not to mention he had a Twitch channel, whatever, where they played a video game tournament, that sort of thing. I mean, I think that will be a good asset for WWE just to keep him there. But that's the thing that of course, that we don't know for sure of Xavier Woods. Now, I know some people would say he should take it, because I think some of you just don't want him to be anywhere else. I mean, that's not up to us people to decide. That's up to him. I mean, I say we don't know for sure what he will think. So we'll find out soon enough when the day comes. So we haven't crossed that bridge yet. So if there's anything new about that, I'll let you guys know. So until then, let's call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoys this episode. Coming up, as we probably be heading towards to NXT, we'll see how things will roll there. I mean, we have been seeing the chaos been happening, so can't wait to see that. Now, like I said before, I'm a bit behind on the Choco Pro and Stardom events, so we'll see how things roll from that too. But we'll see. But for now, we'll leave things as it is and move forward. But until then, I will see you guys in the next DWZ time. Same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye. And have a nice day. Bang.